So it is a gorgeous day, a little breezy, and I have been waiting and waiting to get out in the garden and really get some things cleaned up. So it's June. It's the time of year where we need to tackle some projects in the garden. Now, in Zone 7 on the East Coast, I'm outside the DC area. We experienced a ton of rain, which we needed. We got almost 6 inches in like 4 days. So it's been really hard to get out into the garden to do any maintenance. So the first flush of these gorgeous white roses bloomed, but it was right after, well, they bloomed right before the big rain. So I really didn't get to enjoy them, but they will flush out again. So I needed to give them a nice haircut and kind of just assess how the vines are growing and anything that I need to kind of tie up. I am going to add some additional line to kind of wrap around the left side of this little shed that we have right here. So it's a great time, anytime in the 1st of June, to get out and look at your roses, prune them, give any extra fertilizer. I love to give mine a dose of fish emulsion. So you can mix it with water and the roses eat it up. I learned this last year from a rosarian and I tried it. So I am going to get out some different clothes and a mask. I don't like the smell of that fish emulsion, but it definitely works. So it is worth it. But right now, we're just going to deadhead these roses. So in early June, again, it's a great time to just tackle things in your garden. So today, I'm going to be working along the driveway long border. So we have a long and narrow driveway, and all along it, I have a border of shrubs, perennials, and not many annuals. I don't do a lot of annuals in that space, but it really needs just a little bit of work. I think I can get it done in maybe an hour. Then we're going to head back and tackle some things in the shade garden. I've got some yuck happening there. I want to show it to you in case maybe you're struggling with it too, or if maybe you've had a lot of rain, something to be aware of. So this little space, the tiered garden area, I redid in late winter. And one of you recommended a ground cover. I think it's called Hydrangea. I'm sure I'm pronouncing it wrong, but it is a beautiful green ground cover. Now, I also have some astilbes that returned in this space and some ajuga, but it had just a little bit of weeds. So overall, really pleased with this garden space. And then you can see going up the driveway, lots of gorgeous spirea and things that have had their first flush and are really, really ready for just a little bit of cleanup today. So I like to take at least an hour and just tackle those miscellaneous tasks that really keep your garden neat, tidy, and help protect your plants before the heat of the summer. So I love the fullness of this border that we created. It's full. The tall plant is a spirea. The small lime green with pink trim is a spirea. But I like to have a little bit of airflow. So I just kind of trim around so that everything can grow together, but also grow in harmony. So just taking a minute for a little bit of cutback goes a long way. Now, as we come up into the garden, we had a big flop. So with the volume of rain and the fact that we had been so dry, my gorgeous lemon meringue baptisia just flopped over. If I had thought about it, I would have tied her up, but she gets a cutback in June anyway. So in my zone, I find that these large baptisias, again, lemon meringue, I think is one of the largest, they really benefit from after their first flush, give them a good cutback. Now, the one standing here, I did tie up. This is a taller variety, and it usually doesn't flop, but I gave it a little bit of twine just in case. Now, you can also see what's going on the inside. So yes, that greenery, it's not a weed. It is actually Rose of Sharon. So I have the Proven Winners Blue Chiffon Rose of Sharon. It's not supposed to self-seed, but it does. So I'm going to clean up this baptisia, and then I'm going to get in there and pull out, which they're pretty easy to pull, the Rose of Sharon. You want to get them before they get about 6 inches tall because they really root in. It's kind of hard to pull them out after that. So we're just going to tackle this. So if you have a baptisia that flopped, it is okay to cut it back. I leave about 6 inches of stems, and in about 2 weeks, it will flush out and it will mound and be gorgeous through the entire summer. I think it actually does better if it's cut back. Now, if you grow lemon meringue and you're in an area like me where you get lots of summer rain and maybe heavy rain, you could tie it up. And that way you wouldn't have to cut it back until fall. And it should, it should do fine for you. But unfortunately, I didn't get it tied up fast enough. Now, you may think, what a waste, what a time consuming plant. It really isn't. It's such a gorgeous plant. And I prefer to just give it that good old haircut. And in a couple weeks, it'll be beautiful and it's going to last until the first freeze. Now, tackling those Roses Sharon is going to be a little bit more work. So I'm going to get after that. And then after that, I'm going to do some other cleanup up the driveway, just some small things before we head back to deal with some messes in the garden. So it feels so good to get a space tidied up. I cut back the daffodil foliage. It was pretty much ready to be cut back. I do have some new hydrangeas back here that are looking great. You can see all the different bugs and bees flying around. It was definitely a busy morning in the garden. So it looks a little sad right now, but she will definitely flush back out. And in a few weeks, I'll show her on one of my Saturday walks. Now, the next thing I want to tackle is I definitely want to address this limelight hydrangea. So this is a limelight hydrangea that is 6 years old. And last year I started limbing her up and I really liked it. It provides some structure and then she can focus her energy on the top blooms and not all that scraggly growth underneath. So if you have a really huge limelight and it's gotten really tall like this, you can limb them up. It just takes a couple minutes to kind of cut back and prune some of those stems that are just going to flop anyway, and a lot of the new growth. I think 5 minutes, it's well worth it. And if you have a stand, like a row of these, it's really pretty to see the structure of them, almost like they are small trees. So I'm just going to tackle just cutting back a little bit, up to a few inches. I don't go too tall on mine because I don't want to sacrifice blooms, but these little bitty leaves are not going to bloom anyway, and it might as well send its energy to other parts of the plant. So it feels so good to have that cleaned up. And then you can see underneath, it's going to allow more light flow. I've got lamian, I've got some geranium. There's some more weeds I need to get up. I'll do that in a minute. But some beautiful things underneath. And I actually want to add more ground cover under this plant. Really would love it covered. I've got some sweet woodruff, and I think I might do that. And of course, the lamian will start spreading, especially now that it can get some sunlight. So as I come up to the end of the driveway, I'm just going to tackle more weeds, and I'm going to go ahead and cut back my daffodils. Now it is June, and really these guys should have already turned brown, but we haven't had many hot days. Now they have started to flop. I find as soon as mine really flop to the ground and some leaves turn brown, I can cut them back. Now, a lot of gardeners believe that you need to wait until they turn completely brown to soak up all the energy. But those guys have been up now for 3 months. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them back. They're going to be just fine. So getting all that cleaned up is very rewarding and nice. So the second thing on my list today is after you've had a ton of rain, even though the ground is wet and your containers might be damp, all the nutrients have really been flushed out of the plants. And I was really, really worried. The containers and some other items in the garden, I feel like needed some nutrition. Now, I just picked up at my garden center this Fox Farm liquid plant food. It's called Big Bloom. Now, what I love about this is the nitrogen is at 0. That means it's going to promote blooms, not growth. So I'm actually going to try this year in my containers that have the dahlias. Dahlias really don't need or like a lot of nitrogen. So since I don't have petunias in these containers, I'm going to try this Big Bloom this year and see how it does. I think it'll be a good experiment. And then in my petunia containers, I'm still going to use the Proven Winners water-soluble fertilizer. It has chelated iron in them, and petunias love it. I think Proven Winners made it just for the petunias. So I am going to use 2 different and just kind of see what happens. Now, the soil here was wet, but what I'm doing is I'm really giving it a foliar feed because the plants need that nutrition to keep blooming and to keep thriving. I also don't want them to get yellow, and so just giving them that good nutrition. So then next, I'm going to head up the petunias with that good Proven Winners water-soluble fertilizer. I can fill up this 1 2-gallon container and just pop around the garden. Again, I'm really focused a little bit on the roots of the petunias and, of course, the foliar feed. So I'm going to tackle a few containers. I think I've got 5 up here that have petunias in them. All right. So next up, I had just walked through the shade garden after all this rain, and I noticed, something so heartbreaking. Hostas can get hurt and damaged during storms. They can burn. I have never had this kind of damage on my hostas. And I know this area is very thick, and we again have had weeks of rain, but the slugs this year are huge. Look at that damage. So at first I wasn't sure because I've seen slug damage, but not on my hostas. I just don't have slug pressure in this garden until this year. So I asked ChatGPT and I did an image, Google image, and yes, it is from slugs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and cut those leaves off. I just can't stand the nastiness. And there are baby leaves underneath. So hostas will continue to produce leaves throughout the summer. So I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice these large blooms, and then I'm going to put out some sluggo. Now, I've got one container, it's about half full. I'm going to have to order another one because I also get slugs near my dahlias. But I've really never had them in this garden. So I think lesson learned next year, I will put Sluggo down a little bit early before all of our rain starts in. I haven't come out at night to try to see if I can see those pesky critters, but I'm going to keep an eye on it. So, if you have a shade garden and it stays, you've had a lot of rain, you may want to be aware and really look for that slug pressure or be preventative and get Sluggo out. I know the weather is predicting this year that especially in in zone 8 and below, it's going to be a very wet summer, which is great. I think everybody needs the water, but it does bring out things like slugs. So, Sluggo is a great option. It's not too expensive and it usually goes a pretty long way. Now, you can get regular Sluggo or Sluggo Plus. I have the Plus because we do have earwig pressure and they love my dahlias. So I just get the Sluggo Plus and it works great. I hope you just enjoyed seeing some of the things that I'm tackling in my garden and some of the things that we're dealing with, and just a good old fashioned cleanup day. So let me know what you're doing in your garden. And if you're dealing with any odd pests this year, I'd be so curious to know. Thanks so much for joining me today and following along, and I'll see you back out in the garden soon.